Quietly entering the holy labyrinth where the Spirit lives, I seek wisdom. In the west, Father Sun outlines spiral paths. Stones sing, cairn silhouettes like miniature megaliths witness a warm, beating heart. Feeling nourished, I give thanks for love. Reverently returning home where the searchers live, I seek harmony. In the south, streaks of sunlight fill the sky, a soul's delight and a blessing of grace. Being one with the divine source, feeling peaceful, I give thanks for unity.
Hi friends, so happy you joined me. Today we are celebrating Imbolc together. So what does that mean? Well, here in the Northern Hemisphere, it means that we are starting to say goodbye to winter and hello to spring. So what you might notice outside is snow melting, icicles starting to melt and drip. You might see some bulbs starting to peek out of the ground. You might see some greenery starting to show up on bare branches of trees. The animals are starting to wake up from hibernation. Birds are starting to return. Many things are just slowly waking up from a winter slumber. So we're going to start our day today by reading a story called Goodbye Winter, Hello Spring. We're going to follow this little boy and his dog as they adventure out into nature and have conversations with the things that they find outside. This book was written by Kennard Pock. Hello, winter night. Hello, snow. Hello, from high up in the sky, I drift down, 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 down. I fall through the sycamore branches. I fall onto a husky's bushy tail. Hello, frozen pond. Hello, sleeping fish. Hello, we huddle for a winter's sleep. Over our frozen ceiling, the wind sweeps away snowy dust. Hello, glass house. Hello, I'm cold inside. The swaying trees through my glass panels are like tall, slender ghosts. The last logs are draped with snow. Hello, winter brook. Hello, rocks and sticks are frozen in the ice along my curving banks. Hello, footprints in the snow. Hello, we disappear as the snow covers us. Hello, trees. Hello, our thin arms shudder and lash in the rising snowstorm. Hello, empty nest. Hello, against the striking winds, my twigs stay together. Hello, winter storm. I howl. I can see some light in the distance. Good morning, orange-soaked hills. Good morning. We glow at dawn. Hello, early light. I illuminate everything around you. Hello, slush and snow. Hello. In the sunlight, I soak into the cold ground. In the shadow, I stay still and icy. Hello, winter thaw. Hello, new leaves. Hello, waking animals. Hello, bright sun. I warm the land. Hello, budding flowers. Hello, bright blue pond. Hello, running brook. Hello, green grass all over. Hello, robins. Hello, our petals blossom. The fish are awake. Streams run down the hills. Morning dew is on the meadows. The birds have come back. Goodbye, winter. Hello, spring. It's a great story. So why don't we move on to our crafting section where we are going to make some fun tools to help us go out into nature and say goodbye to winter and hello to spring. See you there. Hi friends, it's me, your friend Dree again. Are you ready to make some crafts? Me too. So let's look at our supplies that we'll need for our first craft, which is a wake-up wand. First, you'll need a stick. Could be a jumbo craft stick or a popsicle stick. Could be a stick like this that you found outside. Could be a big stick like this, if you like that for a wand. I think today I am going to choose this stick for my wake-up wand. Do you have your stick ready? Okay. The next thing we'll need are some of these chenille crafting stems. Sometimes they're called pipe cleaners. You can use glittery ones. You can use different colored ones. You can use whatever makes you happy. I'm going to be using green because it makes me think of springtime. I'm going to be using yellow because it makes me think of the sunshine. I'm going to be using blue because it makes me think of the spring rains. And I'm going to be using this purpley pink for flowers. I'm also going to use this silvery one to represent the moonlight that will be shining upon all the land every night. Got our chenille stems? Check. The next thing we'll need are the 1-inch jingle bells. The reason why they need to be this big is because we're actually going to weave this through the top of the bell here. So if you have bells that are a bit smaller, they still might work. You just need to be able to get this stem through the bell so that it will hang on to it. Okay? Great. If you'd like, you could also have some ribbon or some yarn to add some extra flair and decoration to your craft. Okay, we've got all our supplies. Let's begin. First, we're going to take our stick or the base of our wand, and we're going to decide which end is the pointy end. For me, this feels like the handle end. This definitely is the pointy end for me. Which end do you like better to hang on to? Your choice is correct, whatever it is for you. So the next step is to decide which color you're going to start with. I'm just going to do the yellow first for the sunlight. And I'm going to take one of my bells and sew on my chenille stem right through the top of the bell. Then I'm going to take my pointy end and start to wrap the extra part of the chenille stem around the end. And I want to leave a tiny bit sticking out like this so that I can twist it up with the other part here. Gonna twist it around. You can see me twisting it around. Now I've got a little bit of each end here that I can now twist together. So it hangs on really, really tight. Just gonna fold that under, and we've got our first jingle bell. So what color do you want to do next? I'm gonna do my silver one because of course we've got the sun. Now I'm gonna do the moon. So same thing. Just weave your chenille stem or pipe cleaner. Well, this one's a little trickier. There we go. Through there like so. Good job. And you've got a choice to make here. You can do all your bells in a line all the way down the stick, or you can start putting them around in different spots. I think I might do that option. So I'm going to put this bell kind of beside and under the first one I did. The choice is yours. There is no wrong way to do this. And again, start twisting and leave a little bit extra. Get your other one, start twisting, leave a little bit extra, and twist those babies together. Hang on really tight. Tuck them around. Ooh, yes. This is looking fabulous. Okay, so I've got the sun and the moon. What do I want next? I think I am going to do the water, the rains that will fall and bring life to the soil. So I've got my blue one. And like I said, guys, there's no wrong way to do this. So you can use all different colors, all one color. You can have different size bells as long as they can fit this stem through it. You can have any type of stick, whatever feels good to you to use as a wand. And you can wrap it however you want, as long as it's really staying on the stick well. So I'm going to continue on going a little bit to the side and below my other bell. And guess what I'm doing? Wrapping. You got it. Wrapping, wrapping. I'm leaving a little bit to twist on tight. I can't see your wake up wand, but my spidey senses are telling me that it's fabulous. And my spidey senses are rarely wrong. Okay, so far I'm into it. The next thing we are going to do, I'm going to choose green because I've got my sun shining down, my moonlight reflecting the sun at the nighttime, the springtime rains, and now I'm going to do the green grass and the bulbs and the leaves and the blossoms. All the life starting to reemerge will be represented by my green stem. But of course, you use whatever color you want to use. And surprise, I'm putting a bell on. See how easy this is? Making your own ritual tools can be so fun. And this is a great example of how easy it can be. Twisting around my green, leaving a little bit to tighten on. Get those fastened really well. It's all coming together. Looking good, looking good. So my last one is the purple. Of course, I told you before that this is gonna, for me, represent the flowers and the blossoms and that kind of thing that's about to pop up soon. Where I live, it's going to be crocus bulbs in particular. I'm very excited to see those peeking out of the ground soon. And I'm going to put this bell on. So that will leave me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors and 5 bells. But you do whatever works for you. You could have 1 bell. You could have 10 bells. You could have 1 color. You could have 5 colors or 6 colors or 8 colors. It's your choice. This is really, truly what feels good to you, what makes sense to you, and that's what makes it your ritual tool and nobody else's. Okay. Yep. Twisting you around. You got it. Twisting, twisting. Ooh, this one's looking really fuzzy. I like it. And leave my little ends. Secure those with a good twist. And here is what I, so far, have created. Let's see how it sounds. Sounds pretty jingly. If you were a bulb or an animal and you heard this jingly alarm sound, would it entice you to wake up? That's my hope. Okay, what's next? A little flair. Maybe you want to use yarn, maybe you want to use ribbon, maybe you have another idea of something that you'd like to put on yours. I'm going to put this really pretty purple ribbon. It's got a little shine to it as well. And I'm going to put it right at the bottom here. And you can put yours wherever you want. Maybe you want to put your flare right at the tippy, pointy end. Maybe you want to put your flare in the middle or several different pieces. The choice is yours. This is one of the best things about creating art and ritual tools. Totally whatever makes you happy. Whatever feels good. Okay, just tying mine on, just with a simple tie like your shoelaces. And then again, to make sure it stays on really tight. See how it looks. I mean, it's pretty cute, right, guys? Pretty cute, friends, pretty cute. Yours looks amazing too. I can tell by my spidey senses. So that's it, guys. You can add as much as you want or keep it simple. These will be used as the snow is melting and the ice is melting and the spring is starting to pop up, to go outside and wake up the earth, wake up the animals, invite back the birds. One way that I'm going to use mine is to call forth the crocus bulbs. So I'm going to take this outside and wake up, wake up, wake up, crocus bulbs. Spring is here. Wake up. What are you going to wake up for spring? Let's get ready for the second craft. It's a little bit more challenging. You might want to make both of these or just stick with one. I'm going to get my tools. See you back here in a minute. Hello again, friends. It's Dre. I am ready to do crafting part 2. So as I mentioned, this is a little bit more challenging than the first craft, but still totally doable. We are basically going to make a waker shaker out of paper plates or bowls. These are kind of bowlish plates. And this is what you're going to end up with, something that sounds like this. Pretty loud. I think it's even louder than my wake up wand that we made earlier. So this is just another tool that you can use around Imbolc time to take outside and invite nature to wake up from its winter slumber, to come forth, to start to bloom, entice the sun to come out and the snow to melt, all things Imbolc. So let's go over the tools we'll need. First, of course, we'll need 2 paper plates or bowls, something that you can put together like this so that it has a cavity inside in which you're going to put some dried peas, dried beans, maybe popcorn kernels. I'm using these dried mung beans, which are just the size of a seed, really. So we'll need these paper plates. We'll need a jumbo crafting stick or a popsicle stick. Ideally, this is the type of stick you use because it is very flat, as you can see. Unlike the sticks we used earlier that are more cylindrical, they're rounded, which makes it harder to attach to the flat sides of the paper plate. So ideally you have one of these. If you do not, you can make it work. And that's the best thing about crafting your own ritual tools or making art, is that you just get creative. You get resourceful. You use what you have on hand and just make it work. Okay, got that. Check. Then I will need a stapler. If you don't feel confident to use a stapler on your own, you could ask an adult to help you do the stapling part. I do recommend staples. I think it's the easiest, fastest, best way to fasten these together. So if you don't have a stapler, you can use glue and tape. It'll take a lot longer and is doable, but I'm going to be demonstrating with the staples today. If you are using the glue, what I recommend doing is starting by gluing just 3/4 away around your plate, 3/4 of the way, and setting it aside to glue probably overnight like that, with a little bit of tape around where you glued to reinforce it and hold it really tight together. That way, tomorrow you can relook at this video and add the beans and the other things you'll need to finish up your craft, but glue takes a long time to set. Alternatively, you could use hot glue, but that again should be an adult helping you out for that because it can give you some burns and that's a total bummer. So, stapler. I've got some blue masking tape. I recommend masking tape or duct tape. I have a black duct tape as well. I'm going to use this colorful one just because 1, I have it, and 2, it's for inviting the spring back. So bright colors are totally acceptable for this type of craft. I'm going to be using, as I mentioned, these mung beans. You can use any type of dried kernel style thing for the inside of your shaker. We're going to need some kind of coloring. I've got these colored markers here for creating some stuff on our plates. You could use crayons, you could use paints if you wanted to allow a drying time for that. You could use pencil crayons or colored pencils, whatever works for you. And some type of flare if you so choose. You'll recognize this if you did our first craft. I'm going to be using it again for this one. This is my shiny purple ribbon. I've got 3 pieces cut here, ready to go to add some flair to my Waker Shaker. You could also use yarn or tassels. You could use glitter or glitter glue on here. You could put sequins or maybe little gemstones, you know, the flat-backed ones. You could put those on there. Whatever makes you feel excited, invigorated, and as though it's going to wake up the earth. It's going to invite back the birds. It's going to bring forth all of the growth that is wanting to spring forth right now, this time of year. So, where do we begin? I'm going to cross my legs, crisscross applesauce. Alrighty. First, we are going to take our plates and get them together. With this stapler, we're going to want to attach staples to about 3/4 of this plate, all the way around the rim. Okay? This stapler is a little weird because it has this extra bit on the front. It's a bit tricky, but it'll work. Make it happen, right? Make it happen. So here we go. Make my way around. Attaching these 2 together with a space inside to put our beans. If you have an adult helping you with this part, don't forget to say thank you. A little gratitude goes a long way, folks. Thank you, helper adult. Okay, it's coming together. I'm about halfway around now, so a little bit further. There we go. Almost there. Voila. Give you a close-up shot here. So you'll notice I've got staples starting here, going all the way around, connecting the 2 paper plates. And this part is open so that I can open it slightly and get our beans in. This side, because of my crazy shaped stapler, is a little bit crushed, so I'm just going to take a moment to pop that open again. Stick my fingies in there and just pop it open. So now you've got this flying saucer style soon-to-be shaker happening. Okay, let's fill it. So I'm going to take my mung beans, my dried mung beans, and open up this part and just pour them on in. Even at this point, you can see how effective that's going to be for making a noisemaker. It's already quite loud just pouring them in. Now I've got my filling inside, but I might want to choose to put a handle. You don't have to, but if you do choose, this is where the jumbo craft stick comes in. So if I want to use this stick, now is the time to tape it on so that I don't staple all the way around and end up with no room for my handle. So right now I'm going to take my stick, a little bit of tape, just to hold it in place, like so. I'm going to put the end of this stick handle inside where I just put the beans and just tape it on like so. That way I know that that space is going to be just for my stick. It'll be ready and waiting when I staple all the way around. So let's continue. More staples. Now it's rattling while I staple. Okay. That was fast for mine. As you can see, I've got staples all the way around, and I've got a handle set in my plates. Okay, so at this point, I am going to take my tape and use it kind of like a border, but also as a reinforcement to add strength to the exterior of my plates. So we've got a round line here we want to go. We have a straight tape. So you need to use little pieces and just add a little piece by little piece, folding over like so, all the way around. While I'm doing this, I'm going to be thinking about all the different things that I'd like to wake up with my waker shaker. Bears. Definitely wake up the bears that are in hibernation. Oh, there's going to be cute little bear cubs coming out. That'll be pretty precious. Somewhere. What else? The crocus bulbs that I talked about before. It won't be long before there's apple blossoms coming. Can you believe that? Probably cherry blossoms before. Daffodils. What comes up around your area? Groundhog. Groundhogs. Good call. Definitely groundhogs. And you'll notice that Imbolc is basically the same day as Groundhog Day. You think that's a coincidence? They could be connected. I think they're connected because, as you know, Imbolc is about the winter ending and the spring coming forth. And what does the groundhog do when he sticks his head out? He tells us if he sees his shadow or not. And that will determine, theoretically, if spring is coming or if we have more winter time to come. Very connected. Other things I'm looking forward to are the longer days, more sunshine. Lots of things to look forward to. There is limitless potential this time of year. And that's important to remember for you too. You have limitless potential inside you. You can grow in a million different ways. So it's fun to think about the ways that you want to grow, the ways that you think are important for you to grow. Those are wonderful ways to spend the Imbolc time, considering what you want to be in your future. So you'll see now I've made my way all the way around with the tape and I've folded it over on the other edge. And this obviously is the not perfectly pretty side, but art is perfectly imperfect, right? We're not aiming for this to be exactly right. There's no such thing. It's exactly right for me, and that makes it perfect. So yours will be exactly right for you and makes it perfect. I'm adding a little bit extra tape on my handle. So now I've got this shaker. This shaker base is going to be a nice canvas for creating some springtime art upon. So what does that mean to you? Would you like to draw a picture? Would you like to write some springtime words? Do you have magical symbols or sigils that you'd like to put on yours? Decide what you think makes sense and go forth. I am going to use my colored markers and start with the sunshine. Gonna put some golden rays pointing out. Classic sunshine shape. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Getting warm just looking at it. Ooh. What else am I gonna do? I'm gonna add some green hills. Like so. So I've drawn two lines here you can see. This would mean that this hill is in the foreground and this hill is in the background. So when I draw my flowers blooming here, they're going to be a little bit bigger than the flowers I'll draw on this one. Because if you notice, when you look out into the world, things that are far away appear smaller. Things that are closer to you appear larger. So that's a good trick for art. Now I'm going to do some little sprouts of green. The springtime color. Big sprouts on the foreground. On the background, you do some smaller sprouts. And it gives the illusion that it's further away, right? Okay, got our sprouts. Of course, we need some flower tops on these sprouts. Like I mentioned, you can do whatever pictures you want. You don't need to do what I'm doing. Whatever spring means to you, whatever you think will invite out the animals, invite out the blossoms, bring back the sun, whatever you think will do that, that's what you want to put on your waker shaker. Okay. If you've got words, there's lots of good springtime words like rainbow or blooming or potential. Here's my flowers. You could even write the word Imbolc. That'd be a great way to invite things to come forth again. Now I'm going to add some raindrops to represent the importance of the water, the life-giving water, without which would be no life, of course. So we can see it falling from the sky. And if I had all the colors and markers, you know what? I might do a rainbow on here. That would be wonderful. Yeah. So on this side, I'm going to just write, welcome spring. I'm going to use green. Welcome. W-E-L-C-O-M-E. Spring. Spring. S-P-R-I-N-G. I-N-G. Welcome, spring. Little invitation. And then, to mark this occasion, I am going to write Imbolc 2021. Can you believe it? It's 2021? Wow. Time sure flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Here we go. Now I'll know every time I use this that I made it with you at Imbolc 2021. Okay, so we've got some imagery. We've got securely fastened edges. We have a nice handle. We've got inside, which makes it noisy. Now it's time for some flair. You know I love these, so I'm going to add some of this. How do I want to attach this? With tape or with a staple? I'm going to staple it. You can choose what works for you. Maybe you're using yarn, maybe you're using tassels, or maybe you just want to leave it without any extra flair. That's fine too. Whatever works for you is the right answer. There's no wrong way to create art or personal ritual tools like this. Whoa, this is looking fancy. Okay, I'm really into this. And you know what? I was gonna do this third one, but I think I'm gonna stop here. I think this is the perfect amount actually for me. Okay, great. So I'm finished. You can continue to decorate yours however you'd like until it feels just right. And then it's going to be used in the same way as our wake up wands. You can take this outside into your yard, into the forest, or just out onto a patio and call forth the spring. Call forth the animals out of their hibernation. Invite back the birds from their migration. Call up the crocus. Call up the other bulbs. Call out the leaves to start budding. Pussy willows, so you can see them all fuzzy on the tree tips. Whatever is in your area, wake it up with your waker shaker. May your springtime and all the rest of the year be filled with joy, adventure, love, fun, and laughter. Thanks for being here.
The Luminary Children of Meadowvale. Written by Dr. Mary Jo McLaughlin and inspired by the spring blossoms of Circle Sanctuary. The children, dressed in white hooded robes, quietly enter Meadowvale just before first light. They take care not to step on tiny shoots of green emerging from hiding places deep beneath the forest floor. It is springtime in the woodlands, a time of fairy magic and mystery. The children have come to serve the ancient luminary tree. Silently, reverently, they walk in single file, listening for the rhythm of a slow, strong heartbeat. They pause to hear delightful whisperings of unfurling leaves and inhale deeply the fragrance of spring. The woods are alive. Swirls of morning mist rise from the earth, leaving the taste of sweetness upon their lips. Shimmering fire fairies escort the children to a large clearing where a fairy ring surrounds the majestic luminary tree. Clasping hands, the children dance and sing with glee under the magical light of the luminary tree. Dance, dance, circle around with me. Dance, dance round the luminary tree. Sing, sing in the circle vast. Sing, sing, the circle is cast. Spin, spin, close your eyes. Spin, spin, the powers rise. Sway, sway, this we say. Sway, sway, show us the way. Slowly the children ease out of their trance, open their eyes and smile. The time of blossoming is near. The luminary tree yawns. She awakens from her sleep in the deep, warm earth to bathe in the forest mist. Arching her canopy arms, she embraces and blesses the children with power to transform their magic. Uncovering their hoods, luminescent circlets spun from white blossoms and selenite crystals sparkle. Responding to the call of their luminary mother, the children embrace her and merge into her body. Gliding and twirling down outstretched limbs, children scatter white petals, perfuming the wind. Spiraling to the forest floor, they replace their white hoods. Walking single file, they journey home. Till they hear the call from the luminary tree, they keep the secrets of the woods. The luminary children of Meadowvale.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a blessed Imbolc. I'm Reverend Jules, and today I'm going to be talking to you about doing shadow work for healing. We're going to talk about what a shadow is, where they come from, who coined the phrase, and ways to do shadow work both by yourself and with others so that you can heal and become the person that you really want to be. So let's start off with what is a shadow. Basically, a shadow is that part of yourself that you're embarrassed about or you've suppressed because you don't like that side of yourself, or you've put a moral judgment on it and you don't let that facet of yourself out so that people can see it. Sometimes it can be your negative inner voice. I think a lot of us have those. I know I've battled with my own for quite some time. And it's that voice that tells you all the things that you shouldn't be or you shouldn't do, or puts those judgments on things that you really want to try and do. It's also been called the alter ego. So if you've ever watched a show that has a character with an alter ego, like Jekyll and Hyde, you've got this, wonderful person that is fantastic. And then you've got this monstrous demon type person. Now, I'm not saying anybody has a monstrous demon inside them, not at all. But we do have those parts of ourselves that we just don't want to recognize, and we push down and kind of ignore and push them, to the back of our minds. So where does the shadow come from? It was first coined by Carl Jung in the early 1900s and since been taken up and become a buzzword of late with a lot of different aspects to it. So when we're looking at shadows, common shadows that people might have is repressed sexuality. Maybe it's not from your childhood or something like that. It could be, society, but sometimes we push down things that we like or things that we might want to try because society's told us, nope, don't do that. That's morally reprehensible or wrong or whatever. And there's a judgment put on it. I find a lot of people in the pagan faiths have a shadow around their faith because, let's face it, we aren't a major religion in the US or around the world. And we have a lot of people that speak to us through media and social media that tell us that what we're doing is wrong. So we hide that. Some people maintain their broom closet and they keep it very neat so that they can be in it all the time. And that's a shadow, being in a broom closet because you can't express yourself, can't express your faith. It's also ideas that we put down. Maybe it's something about ourselves that we don't like, or parts of yourself that you disown and you just put yourself aside from them. Like, that is not part of me. That's not something that I'm going to deal with. It doesn't exist. And you just kind of ignore, put your blinders on and make it like it doesn't even exist, but it's there and it causes you grief as you go through life. And that kind of rolls into what shadows do. They keep us back from being our true selves. They keep us in a cycle of hate or anger or repression or negativity. And it comes out in our relationships. It comes out in what we do every day. And it comes out in how we talk to ourselves and about ourselves. So in essence, accepting your shadows and working with them assists you in becoming the real person that you want to be. And it gives you healthy ways to express yourself and who you really are. So you might ask yourself, okay, so how do I find these shadows? If they're shadows and I'm ignoring them and I'm disassociating myself with them or disowning them, how do I find them? How do I know what my shadows really, truly are? Well, there's some pretty easy ways to do it. You might not want to. They're uncomfortable. Working with your shadows is an exercise in being uncomfortable and realizing that being uncomfortable is okay. So note things that trigger you. When you're out in public, you're out shopping, you see someone do something and it makes you super angry or makes you judge them for what they're doing. Look at how that reflects back on you. How do you relate to that? Is it an unfounded anger? Is it somebody picked something up and licked it and put it back? Okay, that's a pretty good anger to have. But if it's something that reflects back on you, maybe it's, I don't like the way that person laughs because it's annoying. And you realize, that's because that's the way I laugh. And it annoys me when I laugh that way. It's seeing yourself reflected in others. But when you see yourself in that reflection, you're talking negatively about it. You're passing judgments on it. And you're looking down on maybe not the person, but on their action. And that can be hard to confess to yourself that I'm angry with this person because they're doing this, and that's the way I do it too. So realizing when you have those situations and when you go through those situations, what your reaction is so that you can kind of tear it apart and look at all its facets and figure out what's going on there. So I'm going to put this out there right now. I am not a therapist. I've taken a lot of psychology classes, but I am not a therapist. And all of this information that I have and the way I do my own shadow work is through research and just doing the work. You'll hear me say that a lot. Just do the work. Just do your shadow work. That's kind of a mantra I have. So ways to do shadow work. There's as many ways to do shadow work as there are people. The way that you process your shadow work has to be in a way that it connects with you and that you can process it safely and in a way that leads to healthier outlooks on things. So number one way, therapy. You can find a therapist, make sure that they're a licensed therapist and that they're a therapist that's going to work for you. Being pagan, I have a couple of things that I look for when I'm looking for a therapist for me or for someone else. And these aren't all inclusive. They don't always work. But I find if I look for a therapist that works with the LGBTQ community, that works with sexual assault survivors, and that has an open practice, they typically accept my being pagan. And I'll tell you a little story. I know of someone who went to therapy and they went to a highly recommended therapist who within the first 10 minutes told them that the only thing they needed was to find Jesus, and that was going to solve all their problems because they saw them wearing a pentacle. That's not going to work for you. More than likely, it's not going to work for you. It didn't work for this person. This person was quite angry and walked out and told them that's not what they were there for. And they eventually found a therapist that works for them. Remember, you hire the therapist and they work for you. So if the therapist that you have doesn't work for you, find a new one. Ask around, ask trusted friends who they go to or who they've heard is good. I like to go to my insurance website and look and see what their specialties are. If those specialties align with things that I want to work on, perfect. If they don't, next. I go on to the next person. You can also do a soul retrieval. That's kind of a specialty thing to do. I have found someone in my local area that does soul retrievals, and they're very highly recommended. But some areas don't have people that do soul retrievals, and you'll find them more in therapists that work within the pagan faith or within Native American traditions. Again, find one that works for you. If it's a person that you don't click with, your soul retrieval probably will not work out so well for you. So ask around for those referrals. And for those that don't know what a soul retrieval is, in my experience, and just speaking from my experience, I had a shaman friend that would go out for people and find all these little pieces that we leave of ourselves when something tragic happens or when something traumatic happens. And they would gather them all up and metaphysically bring them back to the person to help them reintegrate all these pieces that they've left over the years, which really are just our shadows. You know, the things that we go through, traumas that we go through, it leaves a little mark on us. And sometimes we let pieces of ourselves go. So the soul retrieval goes out and kind of gathers up all those things for us and brings them back so we can determine if we're going to reintegrate them into ourselves.
Another way of doing shadow work is through dreams. For those that can remember their dreams, this works really well. Personally, I'm not one that remembers my dreams. Within 2 minutes of waking up, it's gone. However, when I'm in the dreams, I know I do work. And it's looking at what happens in your dreams. What's the timing of your dreams compared to what's going on in your real life, in your awake life? Look at the context of what happens in those dreams. Are you doing something in your dreams that you wouldn't do when you're awake? Is that part of a shadow because you don't feel comfortable doing it when you're awake and conscious? There's lots of books that help with that. Also, looking at your overreactions helps. Keep a journal of times that you overreact or you have judgments against people. You see, like I said, somebody at the grocery store or something that's doing something and you have an instant judgment against them. Write it down. Write down what was happening in the situation, how you felt, what triggered you. I know that's a very big buzzword right now is triggered. But it has a legitimate use. When you do something or see someone and it causes a reaction in you that's negative, those are triggers. And if you write it down and go back and think about it and look at how it relates to something in your life, maybe it's a shadow, maybe it's something that you've been conditioned to do. But it gives you an idea and a way to go back and really look at your behavior in a way away from that situation so that maybe the emotion isn't as current for you. So if you go back a couple days later and you're in a completely different headspace, that situation will look completely different to you and you can analyze it and look at how things go. Excuse me. And how they react with your shadows. Another thing, we talked about this earlier, was your inner voice. I know for the longest time I had a horrible inner voice, and it was because that's what I was kind of conditioned to do since I was a little child. And one of the best ways to make that inner voice stop with the negativity is to confront it. It's coming at you because you've been conditioned, you've been told by society, you've been told by family or friends or a trusted loved one that this is how you should see yourself and this is how you should react to yourself. And so we have those moments where our inner voice kind of takes over. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's, hey, there's a car coming, don't go into the street. Other times it's just negative self-talk. So when you have that inner voice come forward in your mind for whatever situation that you're in, examine it. Ask it why it's saying what it's saying. What is its basis for what it's saying? Is it because you read it in a magazine? Is it because someone called you a name once? Really dig in and find out why are those words coming up for you? Why is that such a big deal? Why now? Why in this instance? And then go through and explain to that voice why it's wrong. Maybe it's as simple as you got a haircut and you don't like it, and someone once told you when you get a haircut, you look a certain way, and all of that is coming back to you, and every time you see yourself in a mirror, that's what you say to yourself. Well, that was one person's opinion, and hair always grows back. So, when you get a bad cut, you let it grow out and you do something different with it. So explain to your inner voice why it's wrong. It sounds kind of weird that you're explaining to yourself why this isn't, whatever they're saying isn't right. But it works. It works. And eventually that inner voice starts to become smaller and quieter. And then eventually it's not there anymore. And you're like, no judgments for myself. This is fantastic. And lastly, art. A lot of people really connect with art. And it doesn't matter what form of art it is. If it's drawing, if it's painting, if it's writing, if it's knitting. It doesn't matter what type of art it is. If you connect with it and you can connect your shadow to it and work through it, it's perfect for you. Like I said, there's as many ways to do shadow work as there are people. Personally, I have journaled a lot with shadow work. I used my shadow work as the basis for a project in a class in college, and it worked out phenomenal, not only for me, but everybody in my class had to read what each other wrote. So when they went out to my journal and saw this stuff, they were like, whoa, so you can work through these problems or these attitudes? I'm like, yep, you can. Absolutely. And here's how I do it. And it might not work for you, but this will give you an idea, a jumping off point, so to speak. Lastly, when you're doing your shadow work, don't do it alone. That doesn't mean you have to have somebody next to you. That doesn't mean that you have to go through every single point of whatever you're working through with someone else. But have someone there that you can bounce ideas off of. Maybe it's somebody through social media. Maybe it's a therapist. Maybe it's a friend that you meet up with, in the before times, before COVID. Maybe it's somebody that you can just have a simple phone call with. Whatever it is, have someone that you can connect with. And I know that in our community, there's a lot of ministers out there, and we're open to talking to people. That's what we're here for, is for the community. So find that trusted person. Maybe it's even your pet. I know when I'm through all this COVID mess, I've been home alone a lot, and my animals have heard me talk to them quite a lot, because it's connecting with someone else. And yeah, they can't talk back to me, but I can bounce things off of them just like I would a friend, but I'm coming up with my own answers. So there's all kinds of ways. There are a lot of books out there on shadow work right now and a lot of websites. And I browsed YouTube the other day looking to see just what's out there for shadow work. And there are a lot of really good videos on YouTube about shadow work. If you want resources, feel free to connect with me on Facebook. I'm Juliana Russell. You can contact me through the Circle Sanctuary website, through the ministers page. That will send me an email and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. And reach out to others. By doing the shadow work, you're going to let go of so many things that you hold on to that weigh you down, that you don't even realize are there, that weigh you down. And you'll become a version of yourself that you can not only love, but enjoy. And that's important, especially, with everything going on in the world right now. If we aren't our own best friends, and if we can't work through things with ourselves, especially with all the isolation that's happening right now, what else do we have that can get us to these good points? So confront your shadows, shine a light on them, help them reintegrate into yourself, and find ways that you're not constantly down on yourself or berating yourself or berating others because of how you feel about yourself or the shadows that you hold. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. And I hope everybody has a very blessed Imbolc, and that you find healing and compassion and just love. Blessings.
Meadows. Written by Marin King and inspired by the prairie at Circle Sanctuary. Cold are the days 'neath a weak winter sun. Colder the nights 'neath the moon. Warm are the dreams of those sleeping 'neath snow. Warmer the days yet to come. Flowers and grass lie beneath frosty quilts, dream of new days in the sun. Seeds and old roots, intertwined in a loam, await mother's call and hum. Burrowed deep down, meets last season's old growth, creepies and crawlies do lie, while up above, nestled warm in old nests, sleep denizens of the sky. Each passing night brings another new dawn, each day longer than the last. Spring soon is here, time for dreaming near done, time to let go of the past. Mother, she calls, and all souls must answer, breaking forth with life anew. Snow melt and warmth get the old rhythms moving, and meadow awakens once more. New grass and flowers dance in the spring breezes, butterflies and bees abound. Yips and howls tell of early spring romance, and the wheel turns round and round. Maypole. Written by Vanico Richmond and inspired by the maypole at Circle Sanctuary. Standing proud and y'all, loved by many, adored by all, many shades of the rainbow, with many stories of love and unity to show. End of the year comes, the darkness and harvest, in light we work our hardest and best. This maypole standing proud, saying prayers, performing rituals, loving and loud, underneath the sky, sun and moon, majestic and knowing, standing in the green field. I wonder what magic power you yield. We see you again, dear maypole, soon. Giving it our love, respect, worship, and many honors, its beautiful ribbons of many colors. How many cycles of the moon and sun, dear maypole, have you seen? One and many, not enough for eternity. Cycles of joy and serenity, festivals and gatherings of my family, the people who know and love Circle Sanctuary. The Path. Written by Ginger Ackley and inspired by the approach and entrance to Circle Sanctuary Nature Preserve. Sunlight dappled branches, before me there lies an opening. By the beat of my heart, my feet move forward. Yes, my feet to the path, heart drawn, spirit called, bird song heralded. With each step, I am closer, closer to home, to the place of my dreams where I always have belonged. I hear the voices calling just around the bend. My name? My name. I am coming home.
Greetings. Welcome to this beautiful Imbolc festival. This is a workshop called Intoning the Goddess, in particular, the goddess Bridget. I'm Reverend Charlotte Bear. I'm one of your Circle Sanctuary ministers, and I'm so delighted to be able to be with you here today. Now, where I'm standing is in a eucalyptus grove at Natural Bridges Park, which is in Santa Cruz, California. That's right on the upper tip of the Monterey Bay on the northern coast. Traditionally, this is the tribal lands of the Amamutsan people, part of the Ohlone Nation, who are a contiguous tribe of people since the very beginning. They have descendants still in this area today, and so we honor the ground upon which we stand, for which they have been wonderful stewards for centuries. We are right here, as you saw sweeping in. We are right at the coast, and today you're going to be seeing people go by. You're going to hear some beach activity because we've had a relief from the rainy weather like we're used to it in Imbolc, and people are out and about wanting to be in proximity to this great planetary force of water. Water, especially marine water. And so as we think about Bridget today, you know, she's a tremendous Celtic goddess, one of our triple-headed goddesses. And she has many, many aspects to her, but her elements are water and fire, often combined together as a power source. So keep that image in mind. And she's so associated with Celtic lands. And when I think of Celtic lands, I think primarily of two places on this planet. One is in the Highlands of Scotland, off the west coast, in very cold ocean environment, the Hebrides. We've got the inner and the outer Hebrides, and she's often associated with that location. We also have Ireland, which she is even more commonly associated with. Her healing well at Kildare, for example, but Ireland, which was never conquered by the Romans or the Scottish Highlands. Pure Celtic land, she's associated with that area too. Both of these environments are heavily ocean environments. They're islands. And in fact, if you've been there, or if you're there, you will get a lot of the same kind of energy as I'm tuning into right now here today on big ocean water, because the hydrological cycle is so dominant in these landscapes. Something I love about the Central California coast is it's very much like the coast on the Highlands of Scotland or in Ireland, and that is agriculture. Pasture lands, fields run right up next to the edge of ocean cliffs. So there's not a big inland or ocean separation. You'll have springs on the pasture lands, you'll have rivulets, you'll have streams, you'll have wells, and everything is running right toward the ocean. And it's all very close together, very compact in these island environments. So this is the terrain of Bridget. And the hydrological cycle, the way it works, is very much her domain. So just a quick review. Hydrological cycle, you may recall from like when you learned about the weather in kindergarten, we learned that, hey, you know, clouds happen and you get precipitation, usually like rainwater falling or snow or sleet, and it falls onto the mountains and snowpack or whatever, or it lands on the pasture lands or the ground and it trickles into little streams and ponds, which move on down for rivers and lakes and eventually become bigger and bigger. And then all those tributaries form bigger bodies of water, fresh water, which eventually flow into the ocean. It so happens that right here, we have a little stream river that's also flowing right into the ocean. And then, of course, the ocean, most of the evaporation happens in the ocean, and it goes right back up over the ocean, formulates clouds, which then move back over the landmass, and the precipitation cycle starts all over again. So that's the hydrological cycle. 71% of this planet's surface is water. Water is an enormous element for Oceania. And 97% of that 71% is ocean. And I just submit to you, because we often think of Bridget's well as freshwater only. It's sweet water, it's a healing well, it's a well or a bowl or a domain of healing and birthing. And yet when we look at the bowl of our planet, Oceania, we see the majority of healing, birthing water is in fact marine as well. So we're here, we're sweet water and marine water combined together. And I'm interested in going to where Bridget's deepest domain on the planet could possibly be. This is a workshop called Intoning the Goddess. Whether or not you're someone who's going to do public ritual, public performance, or not, my hope is that this will be a 3-part practice that you can incorporate into your own spiritual practice that will help you to be in tune with the goddess Bridget, and then as appropriately to tone that goddess's voice that's coming up from within you. So in classical vocal work, there are sort of 3 things that we focus on. First is you need to connect to a power source. And when you connect to that power source, that's going to be the foundation for what supports your breath and supports your tone. So connecting to a power source. The second thing is you need to work with a sort of channel of different vibratory sources, as we call it, without pinching or compressing or blocking or resisting. So we're looking for an open vibratory source channel through which the energy from the power source is able to flow. And then your resonators are going to be the things that shape the sound that comes out of you, that actually tones. And if you're someone even who doesn't use words, perhaps you're someone who uses tone as a primary language. Or if you're someone who doesn't even make sound, I'm hoping that you will find the preparatory phases of this practice useful for you, for helping to inspire and amplify whatever form of language you use, whether it's gesture and movement or something else. So I've taken those 3 principles of classical vocal work and I've applied them to working with Bridget in particular. And this is a deep devotional that I have for her. So we're going to look first at tuning in with Bridget before we move to toning Bridget. So much of what goes wrong in vocal performance is that people leap to toning before they've done any preparatory work. And yet our bodies are human instruments. And you know, if you've done any work with an instrument, you know it takes discipline, which is consistent applied action. Doing a little bit every day to practice scales, to tune in with your instrument, to keep your instrument in tune. And that only over time do you feel the cumulative effect of getting more and more facile at working with your instrument. Your instrument, when it first feels sort of forced or technical, after a while, it will become more integrated. It'll become more intuitive. Vocal work is the same way. When I was doing conservatory training in the days that, were heavily performance-based for me, I would spend about 2 hours a day tuning my instrument and tuning in as preparation for any kind of performance I would do. You don't have to spend 2 hours a day on this practice, but I'm suggesting to you, if you start to incorporate it and use it and refer to it more often, you will start to see a change in the quality of your vocal work. And that's my hope, is that you'll enjoy what that change is about. So the first thing we're going to look at is how to connect with Bridget in her deepest domain and bring that energy up into your domain. We're going to do that first because that's going to be your power source. After that, we're going to look at how do you use that energy that you've brought to hermetically move and open those channels within you. That vibratory source then becomes an open channel that's well tuned. And then when we get to the actual toning part, how do you remember to shape the sound with the front of your face and not pinch off or burn out or shred anything in your vibratory sources. So that's kind of what we're going to look at. So I don't know if you can see this, but I invite you, if you do, to go ahead, stand comfortably. I hope you're wearing something comfortable. If you can't stand, if you remain seated, put your hand right here. Put your hand over your pubis. And if you can, put your other hand on the back of your tailbone. Feel where that tailbone is. For those of you familiar with the chakra system, Ayurvedic medicine, yoga, for example, or Eastern traditions, maybe Qigong or Tai Chi or some of those less percussive martial arts, you know that this tailbone here is what we call your base or root chakra. And in so many systems of movement and energy, this base or root chakra is what's known as the center of your being. This is actually the center of your being in your pelvic bowl. So I want you to just go ahead and lovingly put your hands on either side of your pelvic bowl as you're able. Tilt it forward a little bit. Tilt it back a little bit. To the left a little bit. To the right a little bit. Go ahead and move around with this pelvic bowl and move it the other way a little bit. I grew up in Honolulu where I learned hula early, and there are wonderful island cultures that embrace their pelvis. They really celebrate this center power source in our bodies. This is, of course, where we make offspring, right? This is a source of emotion. It's a source of creativity. It's a source of balance and of grounding. So love this pelvic bowl. Just take a moment to be in touch with that right there physically. So many pagan theologies, it applies pretty much across the board universally. We're an embodied theology. We don't feel that exploring the sacred or expressing the sacred is somehow outside of ourselves. We experience it in the body, in nature. And so this is the origin. This is the central place where we begin. Now to ground and connect with the power source of Bridget, we want to do some creative visualization here. So I'm going to ask you to be comfortable. If you're standing and can stand, think of a neutral position. I'm in a neutral position. And with your pelvic bowl, make sure that as you feel it, that it's sort of suspended, free floating, that it's not pushed forward, that it's not back, that you're not doing this, that it's just free floating, and it feels very comfortable. It feels like you're suspended. There's no gravity challenge going on there. If you're seated, you can sort of shift a little bit to see where you feel no resistance, no compression if possible, right? So imagine that. And now I want to invite you to put your hands out, and I want to ask you to visualize being in a body of water. It can be fresh water, sweet water, marine water, but I want the water to be still. It needs to be still, like a well. And I want you to imagine yourself suspended in that water with your arms resting on top of the water and the rest of your body floating below it. And again, this water is soothing. It's wonderfully peaceful, just like that pelvic bowl freely floating. You are freely floating in this water. There's no sense of gravity. Just take a moment to just relish that sense of buoyancy, that sense of completely being without compression or resistance or strain. This is healing water. It feels good to be there. We're going to move quickly through these now. Normally, if we're a workshop like this, it would take me 2 hours. I don't have that time. So if you're taking notes, you can come back to this later and take as much time as you need at first. So just please excuse the fact that I'll have to move along. Okay, once you're sitting there suspended in that water, if you're seated, you can imagine your knees up as if you're seated, but still suspended, seated or standing. And then I want you to visualize that tailbone, that base root chakra. I want you to see it. And I want you to imagine a cord coming out of that tailbone, coming out of that root chakra and going down into the water, hanging down from your tailbone. This grounding cord can be anything. It can be a rainbow ribbon. can be a string of conch shells. It could be an umbilical cord. It's up to you. You're going to visualize it, and I would encourage you to go with whatever comes into your mind. And I want you to see yourself hanging or sitting there in the water with this grounding cord coming out of your root chakra. And I want you to follow this grounding cord now down through the water. Follow it down, down, down through the water. There you go. And eventually you're going to get to the water's floor. It's going to be earth that you touch. You're going to get to the pond's floor, the well's floor, the ocean floor, all the way down. And then your grounding cord's going to go through that ground. It's going to go through that ground. And what's there underneath? Are you seeing little volcanic fissures of steam? Are you seeing more silt and sand? And you're going down, down, down into the earth. You're heading toward the center of the earth. And as you go, as you visualize that grounding cord going all the way down, eventually you'll start to see a magma core, a liquid fire, molten lava core, just like a beautiful cauldron. And you see steam around it where the water is sort of touching the liquid fire. And this is the center of the planet. This, I submit to you, is the deepest forge of Bridget, the deepest place where she resides, where water and fire are coming together. And when you think about what happens in the ocean as magma is released and volcanic fissures create over and over again, new land mass builds and builds upon itself with water and steam and earth, and then will become new land. So here we are in the depths of Bridget's deepest forge down at the center of the earth. I want you to see that grounding cord connecting to it. Connect to it, anchor yourself in that magma, make sure it's anchored. And then once you feel it's really anchored, I want you to imagine that liquid fire starting to move back up through that grounding cord. And it's not too hot. It's warm. It's nourishing, right? It's warm and nourishing, and it's moving back up the grounding cord, and it's coming back up from the magma center, back up through the crust of the earth, back up through the sand and silt and mud and whatever you're visualizing, back up into the water. As it touches water again, you see steam coming off of your grounding cord. Because steam is an energizer, and you see that steam and that liquid fire coming back up into your root chakra, your base chakra. Now I want you to continue seeing yourself suspended, but now you've got this grounding cord connected, and I want you to see that what is in your root chakra is a forge. The forge is something that requires water and fire together. It's a bowl of liquid fire. There's water around it. And it is one of the aspects of Bridget. She was a patron of the forge. She's a patron of poetry. We're going to use those two aspects of her today in talking about voice. So the forge is where we build something creative. We create energy to shape matter, right? We are using a lot of energy. So now the second part of moving this energy that you've just brought up from Bridget's deepest domain into your power center is to take this power, this connected now goddess power source, and we're going to shoot it up your chakra system to make sure that your vibratory sources are nice and open and are not being pinched off or clamped down or shut off. So a disclaimer here is this is going to involve some deep breathing in a minute. And if you are someone who, for whatever reason, is not used to doing real deep breathing, deep abdominal breathing, breathing that's opening up your chakra system, if you start to do this, go easy on yourself, because it's not at all uncommon for people to feel a little nausea, a little resistance in their stomach, or if you've had trauma, to feel all of a sudden a lot of catharsis, tears or feelings coming up that maybe have been shut off or clamped down, because opening up your energy, your internal hermetic energy, and opening up your breath as a way to open it is something that can take a little bit of getting used to if that's not a way you've lived in your body for a while. So again, this can be a cumulative process. Do it a little bit. Be patient with yourself. And as things open more and more, you'll have less of a reaction to it. And it's a healing benefit. If you have any questions about that experience or need to talk to somebody about it, always feel free to reach out to me or other Circle Sanctuary ministers, because we care about your experience as you're exploring a new practice. So now, going back to our creative visualization, we're going to work on opening up and connecting with our vibratory sources. Very simply, in vocal work, your vibratory sources are your chest, your throat, your larynx, and your pharynx, which is at the base of your tongue in the back. The larynx is at the top of your windpipe and has two little flesh folds called your voice box that rub together. It also includes your head, and your head has a buccal cavity, or your mouth, and that's your soft palate, your hard palate, your tongue, and your teeth and lips. So everything in there. And then above that, you have a nasal cavity that extends from your sinuses up to the top of the inside of your skull. Those are your vibratory sources, and they're also going to be your resonators too. But your vibratory sources, very often, what people do if they blow their voice is they don't do any preparatory work. They're not supporting the sound they're making with anything that's deeply connected, and they're just trying to shoot out from a throat or head vibratory source. So we'll get to that in a minute. Going back to our visualization, you're hanging in the water, either seated or standing. You're suspended. You're seeing this forge that's now in your pelvic bowl. It's got liquid fire, water, steam. In Qigong, which is an ancient Eastern system, they actually refer to that as a rice cooker, and that steam you're generating as something that's going to energize Qi, your life force. So using the imagery of Bridget, this is the forge, right? And it's deeply connected to Bridget's energy that she's sending up to you from her deepest forge domain in the earth. So we're back there. And what I now want to ask you to visualize is a big billows that's sitting right next to that bowl of liquid fire. And this isn't a little billows like when you use in your home fireplaces. This isn't that's prana breathing. That's not what we're talking about. If you've ever seen like a blacksmithery forge billow, you know, they're big. They're like my size. You have to work hard. Sometimes two people have to pull it up to fill it up and then push it down. So very often 1 to 2 people would be there working the forge, and it was a total body workout to do that while the blacksmith was sitting there working with the water and the fire cooling and heating to shape whatever element they were making. So with that billow in mind, I want to invite you to breathe this way. This is full exchange breathing. Breathe in through your nose fully, and when you breathe out, I want you to purse your lips. So you go. By doing that, you're bringing the oxygen in more slowly and fully into your lungs so that all the little bronchioli at the end of your lungs are actually exchanging oxygen. And then when you breathe out, it's more slower, so you can't get rid of the oxygen too quickly, right? So I want you to imagine that when you breathe in, imagine that you're filling up that billow. When you breathe out, breathing in, breathe out. One more time, breathing in, breathe out. When you get practiced at this, you will find that you naturally start to fill your lower abdomen when you're breathing. You're not breathing into your lungs or your sternum. You're not breathing into your throat. You're breathing here, which is why I put physical gesture to it. If it helps you as you visualize yourself to imagine doing that, do it. Don't worry too much right now about where the breath lands. Just focus on that billow image, which is sitting right on top. And as you breathe out, I want you to be aware of shooting that liquid fire, that warm, nurturing liquid fire with steam. Shoot it up your chakra channel. Shoot it up. So as you're breathing in, you're breathing into that abdomen as you shoot it out. Imagine going up to the top of your head, on the inside of your head, and try to see it not being blocked as easily. This is the inspiration of Awen. Bridget is associated with poetry. And in Celtic times, for sure, in Druidic times, legendary poetry competitions that would go on for days and days and days for people who not only were spontaneously creative with lyrics, but it was the quality of their oratory, the timbre, the tone of it, the endurance of it, that was also legendary. You cannot do that without well-supported, inspired breath. That's what Awen refers to with Bridget, is that magical inspiration, inspire, to breathe in the breath of God or the goddess, and to allow that to support your hermetic energy in sending sound, right? So this is really important to get these vibratory sources open and not cut off. So once again, just to recap so far, you're suspended in a body of water, feeling no pressure. Your pelvic bowl is suspended gently. The grounding cord of whatever design goes all the way down to the bottom of the water floor, through the crust of the earth into the central magma, Bridget's deepest forge, where fire and water blend. You anchor into that. You start to draw that beautiful liquid fire and steam, that energizing liquid fire and steam back up through your grounding cord, all the way back up to the surface, and you land it in the forge. That is your pelvic bowl. It's your tailbone. It's your root-based chakra. And you see that beautiful liquid fire sitting there, energizing you like coals, like the coals of a hearth that just kind of keep that energy brewing. And now you see a billows right next to that, and you're going to add breath to this energy power source. You're going to breathe into this power source, and then you're going to send power from this source up through your open vibratory source chain, right? So breathing in, out, like an arrow, up through your vibratory sources, up to the top of your head. Keep that visualization going. This is the preparatory work for toning. Toning has to involve this preparatory work of grounding, connecting, and deep breathing, because without it, you don't produce the hermetic energy or the solid foundation that you need to sustain tone. Now, when we get to tone, we're actually talking about touching sound to breath. Touching sound to breath without restricting that sound. I want to demonstrate for you something, but first, the resonators that really help to shape the sound really involve typically the throat, the larynx, or they involve the mouth, sometimes the chest, or they involve the nasal cavity. Those are resonators. I want to give you examples of different kinds of sound that come out from those resonators. And I just want you to know, without judging, how the quality of that sound makes you feel, what it conveys. So if I'm going to resonate from my chest, I'm not breathing deeply, actually. I'm kind of breathing the shallow breathing into the chest, like that. And I'm exploding sound from my chest resonator. So it kind of comes across as a bark, often. Huh, 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 huh. Might be good for a kia in certain martial arts forms. Huh, right? Might be good for that. Often associated with military language. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or sports language. Huh, 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 huh. It's got a kind of percussive energy to it. That's not something you can generally sustain for a long time without hurting yourself. It's hard not to engage your vocal cords, but it's also not toning the goddess. It might be a stylistic choice as a punctuation, but it's not toning the goddess for a sustained kind of vocal work. Another thing that often happens is talking from the throat. This is even less, even more shallow breathing, where you're just, I mean, a lot of us go throughout the day, I know I do, unless I'm thinking about it, where, gosh, if I were admitted, I'm not even really breathing deeply at all. I'm just kind of, it's just kind of there. And then I'm talking from the throat, like I'm talking from the throat right now. You can hear I'm kind of talking from the throat. People who smoke can get a really kind of raspy, deep throaty kind of thing. You know, you might see that, but it's here because everything's here. Again, or sometimes, you know, like in rock singing, you might go, oh, wow, wow, like that, where, you know, vocal teachers just cringe when they hear that, because what you're basically doing is you're stripping your vocal cords. You're making those little things just, and that's what happens when people say, I blew my voice, or I got laryngitis. I just decided for days and days I was just going to shout from my throat, right? And you hear the quality, but I'm really not projecting. I'm really just rubbing my larynx so much that it's going to blow out. It's not sustainable. So again, that can be a stylistic choice. It's not toning the goddess for a sustained, power-supported, medically driven kind of energy. And you'll know for yourself, you know, the emotional quality that comes from that kind of vocal work. It's not as resonant, doesn't have the same kind of timbre or tone. So those are common, I won't say mistakes. They're just common ways we can mindlessly use our voice without even thinking about it. So toning the goddess is trying to get past that. You don't want to be breathing so shallow that you're barking from your chest or that you're frying your vocal cords from your throat. Instead, another one that's very, very common is the nasal cavity. So right here, what you hear is the nasal cavity. And all I'm doing right now is I hardly breathed at all. In fact, a lot of the speech might happen when I'm kind of holding my breath. And what I've done in my nasal cavity is I'm pushing all of the sound that I'm producing up into my nasal cavity. And you'll often hear this with people who are trying to be submissive, you know, often with an upward intonation. And what it can convey is maybe a sense of like me or don't take me seriously. Or you might hear it in broadcasters a lot. Women broadcasters are really notorious for kind of having a hard nasal sound. That is not intoning the goddess. Again, might be a stylistic choice for a certain kind of punctuation or character, but it's not something that's sustainable over time, and it's generally not really pleasant to listen to. It doesn't speak of being connected to the deepest domain of Bridget's Forge and bringing up that sacred voice through your body and out, right? So instead, when we're working with resonators, here's the thing, is if you have well-supported sound, the only place you should be feeling any vibration at all, not the chest, not the throat, it's in the lips. Because the goal of vocal work is twofold. It's to help the vocal performer to be able to sustain a lot of rigorous vocal work without hurting your instrument. And because your instrument is finely in tune, the goal is also to produce the most resonant, most flexible, and most pleasant to listen to sound that can move in all kinds of directions, from intense to tender, soft, loud, etc. So how do you do that without hurting yourself? So when you have this open channel that is well supported by this deep billows breathing, and you're connected to the goddess in your power source, and you're sending that energy up through your vibratory source channel, the only place that it should be landing is here. So this is tricky. This is called the Y buzz. In vocal work, it's called the Y buzz, and I'm going to show you why. And it takes a while to get it. If you haven't been doing vocal work, be gentle on yourself. It comes. And when you get it, you know it. You know it. So don't know if you can hear it, but it's vibrating right behind my lips. It's not catching here or here. I'm coming in closer so you can see my ridiculous lips. That's when you know that your energy and your breath are well supported enough. It's the only place where you're feeling tone, once you've sort of dared to put tone to breath, is right here behind your lips. It tickles. It tickles. You'll feel it vibrate. Then you start doing Wyba's vowel work, which is a typical sort of, vocal warm-up. I don't know if you can hear the quality of that. That's very different than a throat E, right? All the sound and tone is being channeled right to the teeth and the lips. Then you go ooh, which is the next easiest one to do. Very different from ooh, right? And again, it's coming up from that forge in your pelvis, and it's not being blocked anywhere, so that the breath, the sound is riding on the breath, and it's all being channeled toward the front of your face. That was ooh, E-ooh. Harder one is O, because you have to really shape your lips forward. And, we Americans tend not to want to use our mouths a lot. We're not used to going ooh, ah, ooh, as much, so it can feel a little weird. But you'll notice that people who sing and have beautiful tone, they really open their mouths up in the back, and they really use their lips. So O. Very different than oh, right? Finally, the hardest one is ah. You have to really open your mouth. You have to open up and practice for a second with your mouth closed. Do like an internal yawn. You have to open up that buccal cavity and go ah. Very different than ah, right? It's got a different tone to it. You might feel it, but for people listening to you, even as you start to form speech, the mouth is open, the channel is supported, and the sound is being shaped at the front of your mouth, which has a very different quality to it than if it's being shaped in your nose, or being shaped in your throat, or being shaped in your chest. So that's the point. And there isn't any strain in that. So that same sense of being suspended in the water and connected doesn't go away. You sustain that sense of ease as you project. So again, tone is putting sound to breath, but it's well-supported breath. So after you've gotten used to working, opening up those different vibratory sources, when you're comfortable with that, as you keep that billows breathing going, you can start to put sound to breath and practice moving your mouth and shaping the sound at the front. Now, a word about words is that words are formed with your lips, your tongue, and your teeth. Your lips, your tongue, and your teeth. So if the sound is always vibrating at the front of your face where you want it, then the enunciation that you'll hear about is formed with your lips, your tongue, and your teeth. You can hear me doing that right now. It's not about your whole mouth chewing like that. Not helpful. It's about the lips, the tongue, and the teeth really being used. And at first, if you're not used to doing this, you might feel ridiculous. I know when I first started learning French, everything was forward, and I thought, wow, I haven't used my lips, my tongue, and my teeth so much at all. So at first, again, these things can feel a little strange and technical, but they become more intuitive. The beauty of this is that while you maintain that sense of connection and ease with no strain, no friction anywhere, the sound is being produced at the front of your mouth and you are shaping that. It works whether you're talking very intimately on a camera like we are right now, or if you want to be really tender and that's the quality of emotion you're putting across. It works exactly the same way. If I'm out in a public environment and I'm supporting it with breath, I'm shaping it. Nothing is different about the supported sound, but I'm shaping it and I'm just projecting even more. I'm pushing my breath up even more, breathing deeply, bringing it up, sending it out, and it can be used for outrage without hurting my voice. It can be used to call and invoke the deities of all directions. It can be used to invoke Bridget from her ocean domain. It may seem silly on camera, but imagine if you were performing Shakespeare, as I used to do. You'd have to do 2 hours of that. Or if you're in public ritual, and you might want people to be able to hear you and understand what you're saying, you need to be able to do this. You can't meander and just kind of talk from the throat. You need to be grounded. You need to have warmed up with your connection and opening your vibratory systems. And then from here, well supported, you can go up, you can go down, you can go loud, you can go soft. And no matter what you do, you're not harming your human instrument, which is the temple to Bridget. And you are starting the work of intoning that beautiful energy that has come up from the earth's core into your system through your vibratory sources, up and down. More like a tuning fork. The goal is to try and tune for Bridget's presence among us. So you're becoming that tuning fork, which is vibrating here and out. So this takes time and practice. It also has real therapeutic advantage. Learning to sigh deeply on fully open breath, as I said, can really help in the physical or energetic work to overcome PTSD and resolve grief, trauma for sure. It really helps with doing the work of anger, of outrage, which can be very productive. It's also very nurturing. Like if I do a lot of work with traumatized animals or with children really, they're responding to the emotion. And emotion is your energy coming across. And our voices convey energy, not so much by the words we're saying, but what it feels like to be in the presence of that voice. So my son will tease me, but he's seen me work with a lot of traumatized animals saying, Mama nudged and Mama nudged and and all I'm doing is channeling that connected voice. And without fail, whether it's a large stellar sea lion or a baby squirrel or a dog or a human baby, that being will look up and will immediately feel more calm and start to close their eyes and feel more trust. Because again, the voice of the goddess, if you're channeling it and intoning it freely, is amazingly healing. And so today, this is just a little introduction into a practice with these 3 parts that I hope can somehow be incorporated into your own personal practice. And I hope that in this way you can appreciate the healing power of Bridget's fire and water working together from the deepest domain in her Oceania planet up into the power source of your root chakra, brought up more and more, building that cone of power, opening up your vibratory sources, and landing like the surface of your drum at the front of your face, which is that drum surface that's going to produce the quality of sound and the shape of sound that you then intone forth for inspiration, for wisdom, for healing, for trust building. Thank you so much for being with me and allowing me to be with you on this Imbolc. Blessed be, so mote it be. So in this way, I've been showing you how to practice anywhere you go, anywhere you are. You can create a temple to Bridget by using this toning practice that connects to her and connects others to her.
Under Our Lady. Written by Stag and inspired by a moonlit ritual at Circle Sanctuary. Standing with your hands in mine, we could share the moon tonight, like Sister Twilight plucking down a silver dollar from the sky to us for luck. Glancing across the smoke and flame, calling the whirlwind by name, that takes our dancing devotions to the goddess of shadow and delight, continuing to spin our eyes full of stars. Dancing with you round the bonfire, making magic most magnificent, our voices pouring out the song of the summer wind that leaves us panting on the dewy grass. Waning and wandering, we work our way from the fire, following constellations and shooting stars, hand in hand in hand, flowing over with love under Our Lady. Cemetery Road. Written by Tempest Stralka Style and inspired by the road to the Green Cemetery at Circle Sanctuary. As we walk this cemetery road, the road of our beloved ones, the road most taken, listen, be still. Pause between the prairie grass, the quiet breeze, the future past. This is where our ancestors walk. We are coming home. Walk there between the slender trees where so many of our company lie. Like Bridget's bells beneath the snow, our eyes won't see their slow growth pass. Yet here they rest, and here we know that same as springborn light, they rise. We are coming home. Now pull the water from the well. Now let the sacred flame burn high. We walk, our memories, the blessings of souls we know will never die. So as we walk this prairie road, be full of love, those hearts which mourn. For when we walk that road most traveled, we know we do not walk alone. We walk together to their rest. We walk to where the soul's reborn. We are coming home. Ice Oak. Written by Crow and inspired by the leafless winter trees of Circle Sanctuary. Tracery of snow on sky, the choke of oak beneath the ice. It is a season for stillness and blueness, sky bereft where the birds don't fly, like a clear mind without thoughts that have all migrated south for the winter. In this pure, good emptiness, I find rest in the snow. Endless doing, now is so much ceasing. Bright and cold sun spears me, lights me up without warmth, without all these lower stirrings. Instead, I let those things sleep. My passion can burn the summer alive, but now I can see clear to the horizon. I can see clear to my heart, the line between the sunset and my sternum, an interconnection of quiet. This is why I stand here. This is why I love this season. Out on the oak-topped crest, I can disappear into the peace that comes with faith.
Bright Bridget blessings. Bright Bridget blessings. Bright Bridget blessings. Welcome to Bridget Healing Meditations. This is Selena Fox. I'm Senior Minister at Circle Sanctuary, and I'm coming to you live on this YouTube channel from a home in rural Wisconsin, not too far from Circle Sanctuary Nature Preserve near Barneveld. And I'd like to give thanks to our neighbors who happen to have true broadband, making it possible for me to live stream this workshop with you. So thank you, Anne and Michelle. And thanks to Dree for coordinating this festival, to Bob, who is doing the broadcasting for the festival, to Casey, who is creating the Zoom and assisting in other ways with this festival. I give thanks to all the presenters and everybody who's been helping with this festival. And I give thanks to all of you watching live, and to all of you who watch later, and to those of you who will do both. So for this workshop, if you are able, I invite you to get a candle to use in a short while. And if possible, have a bowl of water that you can also use in this workshop. Now, if you happen to have some kind of Bridget image, you're also welcome to have that available, but that's not required. And the other thing that you may find helpful is to have some type of journal, so that as we do the various meditations and I share some approaches, you may want to note down guidance you receive and make notes about the different types of meditations we will be doing. We are gathered here from many places, from across the US and other countries, and this is our very first Imbolc festival online. And we have now, with this festival, done the full sequence of online festivals. And I'm so thankful to everybody who has been part of the Circle Sanctuary community. A shout out to all your members and ministers in training and other staff. And a thanks to everybody who networks with us and supporting us during this time of problem solving. So we will have a chance to work on several types of healing meditations. There is healing self, healing others. And when we do the healing others part, if you want to note them in the thread, use first names only or just initials. People can be in a lot of different places regarding how visible they want to make their name in social media. So there will be an opportunity for you to put comments in the stream if you wish, but you don't have to do that. You can actually speak out names and do chants that I'll be sharing wherever you may be. I'd like you to begin with me by envisioning us as part of a great circle of community at this Imbolc time. And I will be casting a circle with this Bridget's cross. Yes, I know they're used to bless homes and they're usually above doorways and windows, but I like using Bridget crosses as wands as well. the solar cross representing Bridget as goddess of the sun and healing light. So the words are simple: circle of Bridget power, circle of Bridget light, circle of Bridget healing, circle of Bridget bright. And I invite you to join in envisioning all of us, wherever we may be, watching live, as well as those who will watch later, being part of a great circle of Bridget healing. Circle of Bridget power, circle of Bridget light, circle of Bridget healing, circle of Bridget bright, circle of Bridget power, circle of Bridget light, circle of Bridget healing, circle of Bridget bright, circle of Bridget power, circle of Bridget light, circle of Bridget healing, circle of Bridget bright. Bright Bridget blessings. Bright Bridget blessings. Bright Bridget blessings. We are going to explore healing meditations with Bridget in 3 of her forms. Bridget of sacred fire, the sun, energy, flame. Bridget of sacred water and waters, holy wells, sacred springs, and for those of you who are able to physically have a bowl of water, you have your own Bridget holy water place right available to do healing work. And then Bridget of spirit, the Bridget that's indwelling, the Bridget that connects us, not only with those we know, but that larger realm of people and beings who've worked with Bridget across the ages, across cultures. Yes, Bridget, also known as Brige, Brigantia, and by some other variations of her name, is rooted in Celtic realms, but she's one of those goddesses who's become international, multicultural, multilingual, and interreligious. So I invite all of you to join me on this healing meditation journey with her. I invite you now to kindle a candle. And if you don't have a candle present, you can imagine you have a candle before you. Take some deep, slow breaths. And feel her in the flame, in the light, in the connection that we have with each other, working with this sacred form of Bridget. One way to do a healing meditation is through chanting. I wrote this chant many years ago, and the chants that I share in this workshop are ones I've created over the years. Bridget of the sacred flame, heal us as we call your name. Bridget, Bridget, Bridget of the sacred flame, heal us as we call your name. Bridget, 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 Bridget of the sacred flame, heal us as we call your name. Bridget, Bridget. And if you want to add melody, I invite you to join in with me wherever you may be. Bridget of the sacred flame, heal us as we call your name. Bridget, 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 Bridget of the sacred flame, heal us as we call your name. Bridget, 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 Bridget of the sacred flame, heal us as we call your name. Bridget, Bridget, Bridget. Right, Bridget, blessings. So chanting is a powerful way of moving energy. And one of the wonderful things about doing a chant, whether it's a chant you learn from others or one that you adapt from a chant you've learned or your own chant, is that you resonate through chanting. And that itself can bring healing, not only to your body, to your breath and mind, to your vitality, to your feelings, to your soul, to your interconnectedness with all that is. And I invite you to take a few moments now. And as you take some deep breaths, let's do what I call a wellness assessment of self. Focus on your body. And just be aware of how that is for you. And now focus on your thoughts. Focus on sensing your vitality. How energized do you feel right now? Focus a few moments on your emotions. And then connect with soul, your inner self, the spirit within, and get a sense of that. I'm going to guide you in a self-healing meditation. We connect with Bridget of land and the physical realm. So in the next few moments of quiet, get in touch with your body by tensing your muscles and releasing. Feel your connection with land beneath you, whether you're indoors or outdoors. Just feel that connection and then tense your body and release. Do it again. Tense your body and release. Bridget of the land can be a very powerful way of being centered, helping us ground and center. One more time, feeling the land flowing up through your feet, through your whole body, tensing and releasing. And now letting the healing power of land flow up and bring you a sense of being well. focus on our breath. Bridget, of air, of inspiration, of learning and thoughts. So as we take a breath in and breathe out, breathe in the healing magic of Bridget's wisdom. And as we breathe out, dispel what you don't need to have with you right now. A simple thing of breathing with intention, with rhythm, and deep breaths coming from deep within. And the exhale is as important as the inhale. That itself can be therapeutic in a variety of contexts. We're going to work with Bridget of the fire, but as our own inner power. And as you take your candle up, feel Bridget of the flame flowing into you, vitalizing you, renewing you, energizing you. Get fired up. Feel alive and full of the fiery energy of life force. And now for emotions, taking up water or imagining you have water, anointing yourself. Feeling the water cleansing your emotions. And then just be one with the water, Bridget's holy well. Be well at Bridget's well. And now we connect with Bridget with our soul. And one of the forms of her name is Brige. And I invite you to speak or whisper or sing her name and resonate that within your being for cleansing and repatterning your deepmost self. Brige, 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 brige. Experience yourself glowing with a radiant light, the light of spirit, light that is bright. So be it. And now I invite you to do a wellness check-in again. Few moments checking your body. Notice any difference? Checking your thoughts. your stamina, your vitality, your feelings, your connection with deep self. We worked with Bridget in 5 elements. Was one of those elements more powerful for you as you worked with this in a cleansing, healing way? If so, make a note of it. Were they all about the same? If so, make a note of that. Was there any that you found difficult? Well, good to make a note of that. And what to do with that understanding after this workshop is over. You may want to explore this at your own rhythm in your own way as a way of working with the pinnacle of wellness and Bridget. Yes, she is connected with each of the elements, most closely connected with fire and water. Her sacred sites that date back to ancient times, sometimes were places where a fire was kindled perpetually and tended during the time it was an active site, and sometimes it was a healing spring or well or pond or lake or river. But she also had and has connections with land and earth, with breath and inspiration, and with spirit. So another way to connect with Bridget at this Imbolc time and throughout the year is to invite her to help you with release, with resetting, and renewal. Release, reset, renew. Release, reset, renew. Release, reset, renew. Now, it can be a powerful time to, at Imbolc or at new moon or full moon. And at this Imbolc in 2021, we have full moon going on. So part of self-cleansing is being able to be aware of what parts are working and what parts need some help. Sometimes when people are under a lot of stress, everything needs help. And having more than one technique to work with Bridget for healing, I have found really important. And this also goes for working with other forms of divinity and other forms of healing modalities. It's good to have a variety of approaches. So if you've had a troubled dream, or you've had a hard day at work, or you might be Zooming a whole lot and need to balance screen time with healing time, that you have multiple ways of doing healing. One powerful way for self-healing with Bridget is to connect with your own home and the land where it is located, to honor the space, to feel your connection with the spirit of the land, and to honor Bridget as embodied in your land and in your home. You may want to create a Bridget altar, not only for use at this time of year, but year round. She's a multifaceted goddess. Today we're focusing on healing, but to learn more, there is quite a bit of information up at the Circle Sanctuary website. So you can go under Celebrating the Seasons under Teachings and select Imbolc, and you'll find podcasts and chants and rituals and articles in my Celebrating the Seasons that you may also find helpful. Now I invite you to imagine Bridget of the sacred sun another form of fire, being above you with rays coming down you, all around you and within you. And as you connect with fire as light, sunlight, regardless of whether the sun is that visible where you are right now or not, spend a few moments now and draw the power of Bridget's light into you, imagining the sun as a form of Bridget power. Healing power of Bridget light. Fill me with blessings bright. Healing power of Bridget light. Fill me with blessings bright. Healing power of Bridget light. Fill me with blessings bright. Drawing down the sun, experiencing yourself glowing with the radiance of the sun. Be with that image, be with that feeling in the next few moments of quiet. And as you continue to reflect on yourself glowing with the radiance of Bridget's sunlight, invite Bridget to give you a word or a phrase of something specific you can do in your own personal life to bring about healing, well-being. Pay attention to what comes to you and note it in your journal as I play this singing bowl. So be it. Now I invite you to take up water. And this time, as you connect with the water, we call on Bridget of the sacred waters. Touch the water, commune with Bridget and the water. Now, in some places in ancient times, Bridget was connected with healing springs and wells, as she is now, and spas and hot baths. Some say that in Bath, England, that the Romans called the baths of Sol Minerva. The Solas being the indigenous goddess and Minerva being their goddess of wisdom. Well, for those of you who look at pagan divine forms across time and across cultures, know that actually Romans saw Bridget in her various forms as actually connected with Minerva. And you'll see some reproductions in the here and now of Brigantia, where she actually has a spear and a shield. And the Brigantes, who are in the Alps and who are in the southeastern Ireland and parts of England, they got around a lot. Were they all the same tribe? There's scholars who are debating that, but essentially, she had an assertive aspect, a warrior aspect. She was not only connected with fire, but the sacred waters. So back in 2013, I created a spoken chant, and we'll do the spoken version here, but I have a Bridget of the Sacred Waters chant that I'll share with you. Celia, one of the bards that works with the Circle Sanctuary community, put melody to this water chant, and you can find it online. And this is Bridget of the Sacred Waters. And so as you work with your water, I invite you to invoke Bridget to be with you as you commune with her in this way for self-care and for healing. Bridget of the Sacred Waters, cleanse us, bless us. Bridget of the Sacred Waters, heal us, renew us. Bridget of the Sacred Waters, guide us, inspire us. Bridget of the Sacred Waters, cleanse us, bless us. Bridget of the Sacred Waters, heal us, renew us. Bridget of the Sacred Waters, guide us, inspire us. Bridget of the Sacred Waters, 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 be in us, around us, be in us now and in times to come. So be it. And now spend a few moments with the water. And closing your eyes, if you're able to do so where you're at, imagine that you have journeyed to a sacred well of Bridget. Experience yourself before the well. And guise of Bridget takes many forms. I invite you to imagine yourself gazing into the waters of the well, or if you wish, open your eyes and gaze into the water in your bowl. If you do water scrying, see what comes to you as a healing symbol, feeling, message. Or just be with the water and see what emerges in your consciousness. Bridget of the Sacred Waters, Bridget of the Sacred Waters, Bridget of the Sacred Waters. Bring healing guidance, healing guidance, healing guidance. Taking some deep breaths, returning to a more waking state of consciousness. And in your journal, I invite you to put in any impressions, any experiences that you have had as you have connected with Bridget Water. Healing can take very simple forms, a single ceremonial tool, such as a candle or a bowl of water, a chant, even chanting the name, breath. These all can be powerful Bridget healing meditations. It's a good idea if you're going to be doing a self-healing meditation with Bridget that you find a place where you can do that, where you're not likely to be disrupted, and that you attune to Bridget. And as you work with Bridget, you will strengthen your relationship with this sacred form of the divine. She is being honored by people, not only of different pagan traditions, Celtic Christian traditions, but people of many paths and places. Why? She's been around for a long time. She's versatile. And there are still sacred sites from the past and the present. In fact, some water from Bridget's spring is part of what I put into my bowl of water, as well as some water from her well at Kildare, Ireland. But it's not necessarily to have water from a holy place sacred to Bridget, or by working with her in a bowl of water and invoking her and attuning to her, you're blessing the water with Bridget. I would say after this workshop, you have a choice with the water that you have used and your candle. You may want to create a Bridget altar if you don't already have one and put them there. For Imbolc, today is our festival, but I'm of traditions, as are a number of people in the Circle Sanctuary community. We celebrate it multiple days and nights. So a way to continue the healing work and the attunement to Bridget. So what I'd like to do now is share with you healing meditations for others. And there's an old tradition of Bridget holy wells and sacred springs where people go to the sacred site and take a bit of cloth or a ribbon and will tie it on a tree, or at Circle Sanctuary, we have something called Bridget Spring, and we have some shepherd hooks made of iron that we have right by our spring. We'll dip the piece of cloth or ribbon in the Bridget Spring and then tie it on a hoop. So I'm going to show you a hoop, and we're going to be using this again in the planetary healing part. But you'll notice all sorts of ribbons that are here. And this is, I guess, what I call an adaptation of the Clotty well custom. People would go to Bridget's sites and take a bit of their clothing or some other cloth or ribbons and put them at the sacred spring as prayer ribbons. So I invite you to imagine now that you are going to a sacred spring and that you have with you one or more pieces of cloth or ribbons that you are going to dip into the well or spring and then place there for healing for those you know who are in need. And as kind of the, I guess, qualifier here, the work that we do for others in this workshop and the meditation today We do according to what's right for them and their own resonance with the divine. So I invite you now, as I play this singing bowl, for you to imagine yourself going to a sacred well, a sacred spring of Bridget. And as you come there, the focus now is doing healing for others, taking a bit of cloth, immersing it in the water, and then finding a place in your visualization where that ribbon, that cloth will be for those in need. And as I play the singing bowl this time, and you envision this, if you wish, you can put the first name of the person or their initials, the first name and last name initial, into the stream for healing for them. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. Bridget of the sacred spring, healing and wellness spring. 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 So be it. Imagine that we are all gathered around a virtual sacred spring. Imagine those strips of cloth, each one representing someone in need. We not only put out our own prayers individually, but us gathered together in Bridget's name. Empower these prayers and send them into the world in the ways that are right for those we've named to receive the healing that we have envisioned. So be it. Third form of doing healing work. This is healing work for planet Earth. And I got this image many years ago, back in 1999, from a priestess of Bridget from California. So thank you, Rowan Fairgrove. And this focuses on Bridget as a healer of planet Earth. May peace prevail on Earth is the message connected with this image of Bridget. And back in 1999, I, along with her and a number of people from the Circle Sanctuary community and network, Dennis was with me and some others, joined together with thousands of other people around the world, for the Parliament of the World's Religions in Cape Town, South Africa. And we planted a peace pole, "May peace prevail on earth," written in multiple languages on the sides of the pole. And that tradition happens all around the planet, different languages, but the same phrase. Well, I have Bridget healing the planet right here as an image we can connect with. But I also want to bring my ribbons wreath here and tell you a bit about this. At full moon, I added a small globe. It's a tiny hug-a-planet, and you will see the countries of the world all very colorful there. This healing hoop with all these ribbons was created in the time leading up to the 2015 Parliament of the World's Religions, which was held in Salt Lake City, Utah. And there were a variety of Circle Sanctuary community members that were delegates for the Circle Sanctuary delegation that were there. I want to give thanks to all of you who were there. And we had people at the conference tie these ribbons, each with a wish for planet Earth. So you might call this as kind of a super duper ribbon wreath. I've kept it since that time. Shortly after that conference concluded, the United States signed on to the Paris Accord, and that was an amazing event. In fact, some of these ribbons actually are part of the ribbons brought by the Climate Ribbon Project. And I, along with others, signed ribbons that went not only some for our wreath, but went off to Paris. And I'm happy to report that the US is back working with that climate accord. And we have, as our concluding healing meditation, a meditation for planet Earth. So you can envision the Earth right here, surrounded by all these wonderful healing ribbons, or you might have your own kind of globe. Some of you have seen this from workshops I've done in the past, but I invite you now to envision planet Earth as if you were envisioning it from around the planet, flying around in your spirit body. We send healing to planet Earth, not only the actual planet itself, but the biosphere, all of us, humans and creatures, that and plants, all the life forms and ecosystems that are part of our planet Earth. And we ask Bridget to be with us in this visualization. We send healing, that the pandemic be dispelled, that divisiveness be dispelled. And in the USA and in other places, let us find ways to have more equality, liberty, and justice for all. Bridget, bring healing to planet Earth. Bridget, bring healing to planet Earth. Bridget, bring healing to planet Earth. So be it. Bridget of healing light, heal this planet with blessings bright. Imagine the light of Bridget now, here on planet Earth, glowing with the radiant light of love, of peace, of joy, of well-being. Bridget, of healing light, heal this planet with blessings bright. Bridget, of healing light, heal this planet with blessings bright. Bridget, of healing light, bless this planet with blessings bright. Wellness, love, peace, well-being. Bridget, wellness above you. Bridget, wellness below you. Bridget, wellness before you. Bridget, wellness behind you. Bridget, wellness within you. Bridget, wellness around you. Bridget, wellness now and in times to come. So be it. Bright Bridget blessings. Thank you all for being part of this debut of Bridget Healing Meditations. And I invite you to continue to work with Bridget Healing Meditations tonight, tomorrow, and in the times to come. And I'll take a look at all the comments that you all have shared. Thank you all for joining us. If you want more information about Bridget and ways to connect with her, you can tune into our podcast. We have a variety of Bridget podcasts and material on the web. I give thanks to all of you who have joined live and later. Bridget, we give thanks. Bridget, we give thanks. Bridget, we give thanks. Bridget, we give thanks. Bright blessings. And happy Imbolc! And all of you in the Southern Hemisphere, happy Lunasa. And to everyone around the world, happy full moon. Thank you.
A trio of haikus. Written by Dree and inspired by Spirit Rock, The Labyrinth, and the Sky over Circle Sanctuary. This is sacred land. As I stand on Spirit Rock, the truth is revealed. A journey of love, walking the path to yourself, inward and outward. Our spinning planet, wondrous how we can be so big and so small.
Hello, I'm Reverend Bo Nelson with Circle Sanctuary, and thank you very much for joining our Imbolc ritual today. We hope you've enjoyed the content of the festival, and we really hope that you come again for future festivals as well. Now, to get ready for this ritual, there's a couple things to prepare for. First, make sure you're in a comfortable space. Eliminate as many distractions as you can, maybe use headphones, anything that's going to help you really zone into the ritual, what we're doing, and the energy of your community coming together in this platform to be able to celebrate this sacred ceremony. Second, if you have a candle and something that you could carve into the candle with, a knife, chopstick, anything like that that's going to be able to carve into the candle, we will be using that in this ritual as well. Now, if you don't have one, that's all right. You don't need one in order to participate. We'll be able to guide you through some creative visualization that will help if you don't have those tools available. Now, as we begin to get into ritual space, we'd first like to connect with each other. Obviously, we don't have the luxury of being with each other in person right now, but that doesn't mean that we can't still connect with each other in spirit and still feel the presence and energy of community and tribe. So what I'd like you to do, take a moment, take a couple deep breaths, and begin to quiet yourself. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to stop for a minute. Visualize yourself standing in front of a great tree. Hear the rustling of the leaves in the trees from the winter breeze. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, in this visualization, you suddenly look around yourself and you see your tribe, your family, your community, everybody here joining you around this circle. You join hand in hand, and together you take a breath. Breathe in, breathe out. At this time, all members of the circle begin to walk towards this great tree. Each of you, one by one, climb up its trunk, up into the limbs, and stretch yourself all around the branches of this tree. Once you're all settled, you all look down at the ground, at the footprints that you created, the circle around the tree. It's at this moment that all together we call forth the elements. We call to the north and we ask for the blessings of earth, gifts of abundance, fertility, memory, and manifestation. You are that which shapes the foundation of all dreams. Spirit of earth, hail and welcome. We call to the east and ask for blessings of air, gifts of imagination, inspiration, creativity, and communication. You are the poetry that carries in the whispers of wind that makes wonder possible. Spirits of air, hail and welcome. We call to the south and ask for the blessings of fire, gifts of passion, intent, transformation, and creation. You are the spark that begins all things and allows us to create life. Spirits of fire, hail and welcome. we call to the west, and we ask for blessings of water, gifts of balance, healing, wisdom, and vision. You are the flowing river that guides us through time and takes us to the places we need to be. Spirits of water, hail and welcome. And we call to the center and ask for the blessings of Spirit. Spirit is all that is above, below, and within. Spirit is the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and that which is both and neither. Bless us with your gifts of connection, enlightenment, community, and time. You are the force that turns the wheel of life and connects this moment to all moments. We ask Spirit to be with us now. Hail and welcome. Now, as we focus our attention back to each other, I want to talk about Imbolc. But first, I think it's important to point out that regardless of what your personal traditions are, how you celebrate as a community, a tribe, or a family, whether you celebrate Imbolc, celebrate Candlemas, the Norse festivals of February, Bridget's Day, however you celebrate, there's a common thread that connects all traditions and all people. And that has to do with the turn of the wheel and the change of seasons. As we look at the turn of the wheel and we compare that to ourselves as individuals and how we grow and what we do as people and as practitioners, we look at the wheel of the year and it mimics exactly the journeys that we go through in life. The springtime, we start to plant our seeds, both literally and metaphorically. We look at the things we want to bring into our life, remove from our life, and we start to move towards summer, where we actually take action. All of our magical workings are really at peak. And we're starting to really put our energy into manifesting what it is we wish to become. The fall comes, and we start to reap the benefits of all of that work. We start to enjoy the harvest. We start to feel the reward of everything we went through to get to that moment. And then we come to winter, where then we go back inward. Everything's quiet, and we look inside. But Imbolc is a fascinating time, in my opinion, because in between Yule and in between Yule and Ostara, we have Imbolc. Now, if you look at the world around you, everything's asleep. It's hibernating, right? So in between Yule, when everything goes to sleep, and Ostara, when everything is waking, at Imbolc is the time of the dream. Just like in human sleep patterns. You go to bed, you get up in the morning, but your REM sleep, that dream time, is right in the middle. And what's great about that time is it's a time of possibility. There's no restrictions on you. The restraints of reality and the regular world don't apply. Rationale goes out the window. In that dream space, you can be anything. You can experience anything. It's in that vast expanse of that dream space where we all find ourselves in the dreaming tree, stretched out on its limbs, open to possibility. It's not yet the time to wake up. It's not yet the time to manifest these things. But right now, it's the time for us to come together and really think about what it is that we want on a different level. Forget the last year. Forget who you were. Forget the things you worked on. Don't worry about the future. Right now, what are the things in that dream space that come to you? What are the visions? What are the messages? What are the things that inspire you? and can help you figure out when it's time to wake up in Ostara, when the world wakes back up, everything's in bloom and color comes back to our world. Now's the time to start to dream up what that world might look like. So that way, as we stand underneath the dream tree and we look out at the world, quite literally covered in a blank canvas right now, we can start to see the world we want to manifest for ourselves and for others. That is what Imbolc is about to me. It's at Imbolc when one of the most important tools that we have as practitioners is a candle. It symbolizes so much. It's the flame calling the sun back into our world to bring warmth and to bring growth back to the world around us. But that flame is also the hearth fire. It's the thing that keeps us all together. It's what binds us together as individuals. That fire is also where we manifest our creations. Like a smith building things out of raw materials, the energy of that flame is what allows us to spark whatever manifestation we wish to bring into the world. It's what binds us together. It's what gives us hope. So what we want to do with this is we want to start to work with this candle today. So this is the candle that I'm going to be working with today. A tradition that I have in my home is what I'll do is actually throughout the year, I'll gather all of the wax left over, all the remnants from all the candles I've burnt ritually over the year. I melt them down and I pour my own candles. This one was actually one that was poured last Imbolc. Now again, you can use any candle you like. I think that's a wonderful tradition, and I encourage anybody to do similar things in order to celebrate the season. But any candle will work. And most importantly, if you don't have a candle, that's fine too. If you don't have a candle, simply visualize it in your mind. Remember, there's nothing outside of you that isn't within you. So if you don't have a candle, visualize it, focus on it, think about it. Now, I've got this knife here. Again, anything can work as long as it's sharp. And also as we carve, you don't have to worry about digging too deep. Remember, it's always the intent of what we're doing that matters. So what you're going to do is I want you to take a moment and think about the possibilities that could be in front of you in the year to come. Think about all of the potentials in the world around you. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to write something on here that helps us remember that. Now, myself, I think it's important that whatever you write here is non-binding. And what I mean by that is I want you to be able to think outside. Don't restrict yourself. If you've got something that you want to work forward in the next year, focus on it. Maybe write a word that symbolizes that, or a symbol, whatever you want to do. But what I encourage you is to not restrict yourself in what you write. In that dream space, you have to be open to all potentials, all possibility, because you don't know what you're going to find in that space. So now take your time, carve in whatever words, symbols, sayings, phrases, and you don't have to carve very deep. If you have a small candle, or maybe your tool isn't that sharp, you don't have to dig very deep. Again, it's the intent of what we put into the candle is what matters. So take time now and carve in whatever intent you believe is important for you. As you're carving, visualize what you're looking to achieve. If that's something specific, visualize it. Think of like a vision board, right? We put all these images and symbols and things out, hoping to achieve our goals, but also find what it is that we're actually looking for. If you don't know what you're looking for, simply think about connecting with spirit. Think of that dreaming tree. Once you're done writing, focus your energy on what it is that you wrote, but connect with the candle. Feel the warmth of your skin slowly melt the wax. Allow that to sink your energy deeper into it. Connect it with yourself. Now that our candles are carved, I want you to take a moment. Give thanks to Spirit and the Divine in whichever way you relate. Give thanks for the messages that we have received, and give thanks for the messages we will receive throughout this process. Once we light this candle, what we want to do is then simply focus on the flame. Zone in on it. Let everything else in the world drift away. Now that your candle is carved, take a moment and again focus on that dream space. Be open to messages. Be open to hearing ancestor, to hear spirit, to hear your own inner voice to guide you. When you're ready, light your candle. Now quiet your mind. Relax, position yourself comfortably. For a few moments of quiet, simply just stare into the flame of the candle. Clear your mind and be open to messages. If you find yourself in doubt, or let's say your mind wanders, simply take that thought, that discouraging feeling, toss it into the flame. Let this flame cleanse you. Let it remove all of your fears, your doubts. Let it release you from the year prior. What happened before doesn't matter. Be in the moment right now. And for the next few minutes, simply just stare into the flame of this candle.
svans. Sånt passar i varje mat.
Be open to messages. What does the flame tell you? Do you see symbols?
Min får du aldrig. Du varg, kom
This
inte
is the magic possibility.
Ungen min
For
får
the next few minutes,
du aldrig.
focus on nothing but that flame.
Vargen ylar i nattens skog. Han vill men kan inte sova. Ungen river hans varga buk. Och det är kallt i hans stova. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig.
Now,
Du varg,
begin to recenter yourself.
kom inte.
Come back to the moment.
Ungen min får du aldrig.
As you gazed into the flame of that candle, what did you see? Did you see it dance? Did you see words or symbols, anything that helps inspire? Or maybe what you saw doesn't make sense yet, and that's fine too. It's not always meant to. Take what you just saw. Begin to meditate on it more in the nights to come. Between now and Ostara, as you're laying in bed at night, waiting to fall asleep, bring yourself back to this time and place. And look back into that candle. Look back into that flame. Be open to the messages that come from Spirit and come from the dreaming tree. And know that as you stare into this flame, your tribe and community are there with you and staring into that same flame. It is what binds us. So mote it be. Imbolc is a time of magic and possibility. It's a time when we can dream and wonder about what we can be, who we can be, and what we can bring into this world. So as we leave this festival, I want to charge everybody with a task, or maybe a couple. As we leave this festival today, take the spirit of Imbolc and everything we've worked on throughout the day and continue that at home. Make candles, create a vision board, an altar, do something to really celebrate the wonder that is today. I want to thank everybody for being here today, for taking part in the workshops, for being part of this ritual. I want to thank the coordinators and everybody who taught today, Circle Sanctuary, but most of all, you. I'm very proud of my community and my tribe. I'm very proud to be a part of it, and I thank you for being here with us. I look forward to a time when we can all get back together join and celebrate in the wonder of the things that we've created and manifested into our lives. I would now like to release this circle, starting in the north. We give thanks to the north and the blessings of earth. Thank you for being the foundation of the dreams we will soon bring to life. Stay if you will, go if you must. Spirits of earth, hail and farewell. We give thanks to the east and the blessings of air. Thank you for the inspiration that will help us bring color and creativity into our lives. Stay if you will, go if you must. Spirits of air, hail and farewell. We give thanks to the south and for the blessings of fire. Thank you for the spark of creation that will allow us to bring life to our dreams. Stay if you will, go if you must. Spirits of fire, hail and farewell. We give thanks to the west and to the blessings of water. Thank you for the ability to bring vision and joy to our dreams. Stay if you will, go if you must. Spirits of water, hail and farewell. And we give thanks to the center and the blessings of spirit. Thank you for this moment, moments that have passed, and moments that we will manifest in the years to come. Thank you. Happy Imbolc to you all. Blessed be.
Our time together today is coming to a close. Thank you all again so much for joining today in this virtual and sacred space of magic and community. And I invite you all to keep the community going. There are Zoom meetings and email and snail mail and Facebook and so many ways to connect virtually through technology, and know that you are not alone in these times. Although it feels hard to be separated, we need to connect with each other in new and creative ways. Some ways that Circle Sanctuary is here to serve you virtually are the full moon circles we do every month. We have the Circle Sanctuary Network podcasts. We have pagan Sabbath gatherings just like this one for the times of the Wheel of the Year. We also offer many workshops that could be on YouTube or Facebook, and just keep checking in with our website and on our social media, and join into whatever you think will be helpful for you at that time. If you look into the links below, you'll find some information that you might need to find events and other ways to connect or support Circle. As Circle Sanctuary Nature Preserve is a nonprofit, it really relies on volunteer time and financial contribution through donations. So if you are able, I invite you to make a donation if you can, and even better, become a member so you can get this fancy patch and a variety of other things depending on your level of membership. It's a great way to support this community and the land itself, and of course, just take advantage of the many offerings that Circle Sanctuary continues to put out for us. So as we are saying goodbye, I would like to just take another moment, 3 more deep breaths together. The second breath. And a third. May you all find 2021 to be a year full of health, wealth, and happiness. And please enjoy the closing poetry and the beautiful music written by Crow Moon. We'll see you next time.
Thunderous Whispers. Written by Mystic River and inspired by the Frog Marsh wetlands at Circle Sanctuary. Lose yourself in nature and find silence. To this I laugh. Here where the wind meets the trees, branches sway and creak as leaves join the chorus. Where rippling water that seems so still bursts with life below the surface. Frogs offer their voices into the fray. Birds, in their endless song, seem to lead the chaos. Here there is no silence. There is life in pure form, true harmony and balance. Even when the seasons change, the song never ends. The tempo merely changes. It is within this chaos that we find ourselves. It is here that we feel humble, small, yet a part of everything. Here we find true beauty and our truth. It is in this perfect song that we can find our place. But silence, do not seek it. Sing and be part of the melody. Do not be still. Dance and become a player in the endless story. So I say to you, go to nature. Find your place. Radiate the beauty you find. Let the magic of life flow freely. To do this, you need only to listen. Precipice. Written by Abigail Swan Kims and inspired by the view from Spirit Rock at Circle Sanctuary. I stand on the precipice, feel the stone beneath me, feel the energy surround me, note where earth meets sky. I breathe deeply, thank the mother below me, thank the father above me, and whisper new intentions to life. As I look out beyond the precipice, I see the leaves in a constant state of flux, from bare branches to buds to leaves to a forest of scarlet and tangerine. The mother reinvents herself, repurposes, and renews. So too must I. I stand at the edge of the precipice, arms akimbo in praise of the sun and moon. I fear nothing and speak my intentions to life. I feel connected to all things, from the fresh breeze blowing, rustling the leaves, to the creatures stirring, great and small. I am the mother. I am the father. I am where earth meets sky, and my intentions are brought to life.